This was my experience with my first failure on an Eotech product and how it was handled. This is actually the third Eotech product I've owned in my life. I started with the Eotech 512 that had the two AA's out here. On my first AR, I picked up this XPS2-0 or similar to this for my tactical rifle. And then I bought another XPS2-0, this one here, that I used on my SIG 516 AR pistol. I'd never had an issue with any of the Eotech products. They've always been rock solid until a couple weeks ago at the range. I took the 516 to the range, hadn't used it in a long time. This XPS2-0 was mounted on top of it as it had been before. I pulled the trigger the first time and the hologram disappeared from the field of view. The hologram had been full brightness, so it was hard to believe that the battery suddenly had gone dead. And when I looked a little bit more with the range officer, we could actually see the hologram had shifted. So instead of the hologram aiming at the target I was shooting at, it was actually aiming almost all the way into the lane to my left. I tried a second shot, and with the second shot, the element that's down inside the device actually popped up and you could see it in the glass field of view. At that point, the only thing to do was to take it home, not fire anymore, because any more rounds through it would only further potentially damage this element floating around in the device. This 516 not only had the Eotech on it, but as most of us do with our electronic optics, we also have backup iron sights. And so I took the backup iron sight off on the rear to get this off. I actually didn't have to do that, which I realized later, but that's fine. So I removed the optic, turned in a support ticket on the Eotech website, and they asked for the serial number, which you can see on a QR code, and they have the serial number on the bottom of the product. Fortunately, I still had the box it came in, along with the factory packaging. And it also had the serial number on the side, which matched the serial number on the bottom of the product, so I knew I had the right box. After posting the failure on social media, there were a lot of comments, not just suspecting, but a lot of people just flat out stating that this was a fake Eotech. They were citing things like the law enforcement marking on the side, rail tightening screw being different than the smaller screw a lot have. Eotech actually had a really good video on their website showing some different red flags to look for to identify fake optics. I couldn't see any of them, and ultimately they came back. I think I submitted the request on a Friday, and by Sunday night they replied. They said that that serial number is no longer in warranty, and I think they mentioned a 5-year warranty, although I thought on the card that came with the product it actually said 2-year warranty. But either way, they said, hey, it's out of warranty, but we can fix it, do a factory remanufacture or whatever, rebuild for $79, which is a whole lot cheaper than, what are they, $400 or $500 now to buy one new. I replied saying, yes, I'd like your $79 factory rebuild. They gave me an RMA to ship it back, but they said that I had to have it to them by the 18th of December because they were doing factory shutdown starting the 19th. So I 2 days shipped it on the 16th to get it there by the 18th, and they claimed 4 to 5 weeks for turnaround time. I really didn't expect to see it until at least end of January, based on that 4 to 5 weeks, starting probably after the new year. Despite that timing expectation, this thing showed back up on December 23rd, just a couple days later. I checked the serial number, and it was still the same serial number as the old one, so it's not like they just took a rebuilt one off the shelf and sent it. It appears to be the same device, and it had a card in it basically stating that they have somebody certified that they have gone through and done these checks and everything, so that was added in there as well. Other than that, it's basically the same packaging and device. So the first step, of course, is making sure that the hologram comes back on. So I'll pull out the battery plug. Oh, they have a battery. Okay, so they actually gave me a battery. That was nice of them. Turn that back in. I had actually taken the battery out because it was a lithium battery and I don't like to ship those if I don't have to, so I'd removed it. So I even got a free battery out of the deal, I guess. And if I turn it on by hitting the up button, and there's my hologram. It looks just like it should. Hit the on button, and there's the hologram. And then, of course, if you push the two buttons together, it goes out. So it appears functional, which is a good first sign. Now I have to install this and my backup iron sights back onto the pistol. So I'll do that before I take it to the range. Try a few rounds. For me, anytime I take the optic or sight off of the rifle or pistol, I'm always going to check it at the range and just make sure that it's accurate or adjusted if it needs to be. All right, the optics are back on. The backup sight is back on as well. So it's ready to take to the range and re-sight. Just got back from the range, sighting in the rebuilt Eotech, and ran about 120 rounds through it. Once I got it set, seems to be rock solid, everything functioning just like before. So no complaints here. Overall, yeah, it's unfortunate that I had the failure in the first place, but I still consider Eotech a top brand, and for them to be able to rebuild it for $79 and turn it around in a week during the holiday season, as opposed to having to buy a new one, that's a lot better customer service than a lot of companies are offering these days. If you haven't done so, please click the link below to subscribe, click the little bell for notifications, and let's live for today.